In the land of the Northern Lights, locals carved out a life amid Norway's imposing landscapes. But they're not the only ones who enjoy this rugged terrain. Goats thrive here too, and archaeologists say they may have roamed these lands for 5,000 years.
And from these goats come my favorite cheese in the entire world, Norwegian Gjetost, Norwegian brown goat cheese. Du, flink pike.
Gjetost, also known as brunost, can be traced back centuries to the high mountain Seter, the alpine pastures where the dairy maids worked in the spring and summer when the men were off to sea. It was here that Gjetost was invented in 1863, when Hove started experimenting and stumbled upon the taste that grew into a phenomenon. The treasure for which Norwegians still thank the humble goat. Technically, Gjetost is not a cheese at all. Instead of curd, the whey is used, combined with milk and cream. A process of simmering and stirring that takes several hours with the milk sugar caramelizing as the water evaporates. Then it's into the molds, and once cool, the Gjetost is ready to eat.
This traditional cheese is from that summer farming up in the mountains. It was a way to preserve the milk, the resource. Also, it was perfect to take away on long voyages. This brown cheese you can keep for years.
Norwegians love Gjetost and devour more than 12,000 tons of it every year. Locals believe you haven't really experienced Norway if you haven't feasted on Gjetost. So when you're in Norway, remember the contribution these gentle creatures make to one of our favorite foods. But be careful, you may just be tempted to take one of these cute little Gjetost makers home with you. Norway is a wonderland of traditions, and we look forward to sharing with you her many treasures.